The guided missile frigate hmas Canberra was decommissioned in November 2005. There were already 4 other ex-Navy vessels sunk as dive wrecks around Australia, so the Victorian Artificial Reef Society was formed to win this one for Victoria. On the 10th of June 2008, we finally had the Canberra in Port Phillip Bay. You can well imagine the elation of the dive community and the VARS committee, and more particularly of John Lawler, the president. It was a relief to finally get it tied up at Geelong, and this was the first time we got to see the size of the vessel. We had found the right location, close to the other wrecks in Bass Strait, and also the ideal depth in which we needed to sink her. Preparations to strip her and prepare her for divers were soon underway, and the VARS committee was delighted at the quality of the preparation by the contractor. Here we see the bridge in its final form. The main mast had to be cut down to achieve the 4 metre minimum navigational clearance, but the mast array should be attached at the top of the original mast stand before the wreck is sunk. Here we see sick bay, almost in its operational form, and how it is now after it's been prepared. Nowhere is the stripping more dramatically shown than in the cramped auxiliary engine space where most of the piping and machinery had to be removed. Notice the compressor in the wire cage and how it appears now with all the machinery around it removed. The changes to the large auxiliary generator engines are dramatic.
Here and get all this oil, and like, imagine how much pipe work's going to have to be got rid of to scrub that.
It was an enormous job to clear up the engine spaces so we could get access to all areas, including these large fuel filters. And notice how clear it is around them now. The electronics room has simply been stripped of all the thousands of cables, and now it is a large open space. One of the most exciting areas on the ship turned out to be the main galley with its masses of stainless steel equipment, and surprisingly very little needed to be removed to make it diver safe. So this is a room packed with interest. A surprise and a great bonus was finding this mural in the main mess room. We knew straight away we had to keep it, as well as make an effort to retain as much of the furniture as we could. The room looks vastly different now, but the mural's still in place. Another great find is the machine shop with all of its equipment, and we were promised that the lathe would probably stay. Unfortunately, one of our few disappointments when the room was completely prepared was that the lathe was missing. No matter where you go on this wreck, there's something interesting to look at. From the confined areas in the bow, to the whole of the underside of the missile launcher, and where it's been opened up to allow access to divers on the inside as well. The main engine room still remains challenging with the large gearboxes and the engine casings. And from the casings you can access the surface straight up the funnel, or at the other end, up an elevator shaft. The huge gearboxes have been opened up for cleaning and exposing all the internal mechanicals, including the big gears. A feature on this wreck is the number of access shafts from the bottom of the ship to the very top. Some of these are funnels or elevator shafts, but some have been cut through to access the lead ballast or to allow for concrete to be poured into the keel. These rooms are all finished and ready for divers. So most places you go in this vessel, there's something interesting to see. This room houses the funnels and the air intakes for the gas turbine engines. This is the operations room. And this the navigation room. And you can see on the flight deck the tracks which lead the helicopters into these large hangars.